Hey guys, welcome to the video. I am currently on a multi-hour road trip to Crested Butte, Colorado. I live like 4.5 hours away. It's been a bit of a slow morning. I've been just taking my time making my way out here, and the mission is to see foliage. And obviously, I'll throw some B-roll in there for you should I achieve this mission, because this is entirely inspired by this Instagrammer I follow myself, Austin Peterson. So shout out to him. He does some phenomenal work. Also, shout out to Colorado for just being such an awesome state. As someone like myself who's such a nature slut, I'm like really enjoying just the scenic drives just everywhere you go. But in any case, I wanted to come on here and I jokingly tell myself monetize this trip, but like, you never know. Sometimes it's the videos like this one that can do super well. So I wanted to talk about my own self-doubts and the brutal realization with social media. So at this moment in time, I haven't uploaded to YouTube in a while. I've been, to be honest with you, getting settled in this state after this move and after the traveling and everything. I haven't had time to video edit it, and I don't have the money to outsource it either. So I have this pretty intense backlog of videos to eventually edit. So, by the time you guys see this, it might be like December. Who freaking knows? I don't. So, yeah. But what I have been going hard with social media is Instagram. So you guys may already know, if you're subscribers, I have an Instagram that I've linked to this YouTube called The Janos Jungle, formerly Exotics Engineer. It was just kind of like a hobby, right? I would just post my like wildlife photography to that page. And, but it started as like a pet reptile page. I used to have a very massive reptile collection, and I still kind of do. I have too many snakes, but in any case, that's how it started. But I never really took it too seriously. Like 4 years later, and I have like 200 something followers on there. But for the past, since, right now it's like September 28th or 29th, I believe, the time of recording. And since the 15th, I've been going pretty hard on Instagram, just trying to grow my following. And, I've been posting every day. I've been trying to do multiple reels a week. Granted, it's probably only been like 2.5 weeks at this point, but it has just not been going the way I'd like it to go. I know that this is something that takes time. I know that this is something that is especially competitive in today's market on social media. You might say social media is saturated, but it's just, I don't look at it as being saturated. I just look at it as being A, difficult in general, and B, just, competitive. Because there's a lot of people trying to accomplish the same thing across multiple niches. And my YouTube endeavors as well. I've had the only video I've had that has done exceptionally well is the video where I talked about getting laid off. But what shocked me, to be honest, I made an update video and I released it sooner than, I probably should have, considering all my videos in my backlog. But I made a video saying how I finally got another job in tech, and that video didn't do as well. I was kind of half expecting it to do somewhat comparable to the layoff video, but it didn't. And that was kind of a letdown, to be honest, because it just goes to show that people are more clickbaity about negative news. So that's just kind of frustrating to deal with, I guess, because you want everyone to kind of be in your corner, and then oh, I have good news, and no one really cares. It's just oh, I lost everything, or whatever it might be, and those are the videos that will garnish clicks and views and watch time and all that. But anyway, I suppose that's a bit to preface my doubts with social media, because I look at my own situation and my own goals, at least in this moment in time, and I kind of use social media as the only way to really live the life that I want to live, right? Between just having the flexibility to travel and live wherever I want to live, whenever I want and just kind of do the kind of traveling that I want to do. And like I've written out my bucket list several times and over the last like year, and like a lot of those things on there are things related to travel, but also just like, you know, things that take time, things that take like 6 months here, 4 months there. And like I write it so like nonchalantly, but then when I like take a step back to actually think about what I need to do to make that happen, I'm just like, holy shit, like that's crazy. And I'm already 27, so it's like, what the fuck? I feel like I don't want to say I wasted my 20s in academia, but I kind of did waste my 20s in academia, because I graduated with my master's degree when I was like 23 or 2 years ago. So that means I was 24 when that's right, that adds up. I was 24, and I had spent like a couple years going for my master's, and I just think in hindsight, like how far I could have gotten by this point if I didn't do that and instead focused on the social media stuff. You know, like I started my YouTube channel that same year, but I didn't really put much intention into it at the time. And even now, you know, it's kind of just like whatever I feel like posting, and not necessarily like things that are going to garnish views. So, yeah. But the one thing that I have learned over the last like couple years is that, like I said, social media is definitely like the way to live the life that I want to live. That's the only way I can envision it happening, because like, you know, I could live kind of a similar life with software engineering, but like I realize I'm not really good enough at that skill such that anyone would like hire me remotely. You know, like I'm all for working hard and just like leveling up and all of that, but like I don't really want to do that with coding. And you know, maybe I'm just like really hard on myself, because like, you know, I've gotten as far as I have working in tech, and I've managed to get another job and everything. But, you know, like the last time I've like talked about this in other videos, certain people have called me lazy and stuff like that, but it's not about laziness in that aspect. It's just, I would rather put my head down and work on other things that'll actually get me to where I want to be. Like literally in every situation I've been at in my career, and I look at the people around me who are like 20, 30 years ahead of me, I just don't want to be in that same spot. And it's just like, especially now, right? Like you know, I just started my new job. I'm relatively new. This is like the end of my second week, this past week, entering my third. And like everyone around me who's like super older, we're all like the team is the product validation engineering, I believe. And essentially all we're doing is we have this expansive set of Python scripts. They're all already designed. They're all already in production. They're being run in manufacturing for my company's product. They're all like object-oriented design and linked and stuff, but they all can be run individually. But the point is that all we're doing is maintaining these. We're constantly debugging them and figuring out, well, is this script broken or is the product broken and stuff like that. And you know, it's kind of cool. Like I'm happy to be out of the last. I'm in a different industry now, so I'm happy to be out of the last industry that I was working in. But the thing that kind of intimidates me right now is that like I see the end line of like where I want to be, you know? Like when I say the end line or the finish, I don't know why the hell I said it like that. The finish line, right? Like what I learned about getting laid off is that like, you know, you're not going to be in any one job forever. You're just not. You're either going to get laid off at some point, at least, you know, if you're making a lot of money, you're either going to get laid off at some point, or maybe you'll find a better paying job. And it's just kind of funny because my last job, in hindsight, I realized that I definitely was like emotionally attached to it, because like the way that the company was, you know, to younger engineers, they emphasized like mentorship, but like driving responsibility in like a healthy way, at least in my opinion. Because like one of my old mentors used to essentially equate like being thrown certain tasks as being like, it's basically like sink or swim. And it felt like in that time, maybe it was because, I was an intern or relatively new-ish, but like I was never really thrown into any one situation where like I felt like I could fail, because I had like mentorship in place around me, and just everyone around me was just like helpful in general, and I was able to like, have the time to learn things and stuff like that. And I just felt like, I was being set up to succeed longer term. Now, like, it's a completely different environment. Granted, this is only my second company. I feel pretty intimidated just in general coming up to speed on things, because like the product that I'm working with are mainly hard drives, like computer memory devices. So on one hand, that's good, because that's like the backbone of freaking AI, outside of the whole algorithmic shit and machine learning stuff. That stuff needs hardware and storage to run on. So I'd say that's a pretty safe industry overall. I mean, I say that now and like who fucking knows what will happen. Like, yeah, like nothing's guaranteed. Damn. You know what, guys? I was just rambling, and I really lost the train of thought of where I was going with that. I don't know why that person beeps, but anyway. So, but I guess let's bring it back. Let's take a second and bring it back. I guess where I was going with that is like I was seeing social media as like the only like escape for living the kind of life that I want to live. I would have to do through social media. But over the years, like I've definitely been influenced by people, right? Like people who are farther along on social media than myself and have way more success with it. That those people come from a variety of niches. So a big one for me is Hamza. Although he's kind of fallen off, to be honest, and I haven't like watched any of his stuff in a while. I don't even know if he's put anything out in a while either. But he, to his credit, he's a great salesman and very, very smart dude. But like he's my age, and I used to consume his content like he was like all knowing, which is kind of wild to like say that out loud. But like, yeah, I don't know, like he's just that good at his job. But still, he kind of influenced, like ironically enough, I was before, up until that point, I'd watch YouTube from like a variety of different niches. Like self-improvement was one that kind of crept up on me, that I started to consume, as maybe a lot of dudes do in today's day and age. But like, coming off of the whole heartbreak shit, that's kind of how I fell into it. But luckily, I started hitting the gym and stuff on my own. Like I didn't need YouTube to do that. But still, in any case, I'd been watching YouTube for a variety of niches, like whether it be fitness or like reptiles, like Rip Brian Barchak. But like I was like super into his content, and I'm a big fan of like everything he's done. And then with like fitness, like How to Beast, well, he's also self-improvement, but like he's also a big personal inspiration of mine. But like it was Hamza that actually convinced me to make a YouTube channel overall. Like it was literally like, I gotta give him credit for that. And that's why I'm sitting here talking to you guys. Because like the way that he would sell it is that like, oh, like social media is the new meta, like build an audience and then sell to them, blah, 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 blah. And he makes it sound so easy, but it's not. It's just not. Like, which is just, my point. And, selling on social media now is pretty controversial too, because like people don't want to be scammed. I've kind of fallen for some of the scams myself, but at the same time, it isn't a scam if you actually like, buy the thing and actually use the knowledge you're buying to like get to where you want to be. But still, I've definitely like, I'll admit I've been kind of sold things that maybe I shouldn't have bought in the time, that may or may not have been a waste of money. But yeah, no, Hamza was the one who really inspired me to make a YouTube channel, because like I see all these people doing it that are like influencers, and they build businesses off the back end of their social medias. And it's just super inspiring, and like that's the kind of work that I want to do to like live a lifestyle true to myself. And I guess that brings me back to like the niches, because like that's where kind of like the money can be made. I get, well, not necessarily, but like, it's a good starting point, because I realized that like there's a lot of different kinds of like wildlife type adventuring that I want to do. Like most of the things I want to do before I die is like see X animal in the wild, not necessarily like in a zoo, because anyone can go to a zoo, but like not everybody can fuck off to Java and see like Javan rhinos or whatever. That's just an example. That's not even from my bucket list. I thought of that on the fly, but similar to that, you know what I mean? Like seeing tigers, seeing blackbirds or whatever, just being able to do stuff like that, because like the wildlife encounters are truly unique, because you can go to the same spot and you'll never necessarily see the same thing every day. Like there's no guarantee animals are gonna be doing their own thing every day. And it's just, I look at these like wildlife photographers, whether and the cool thing about social media is that these wildlife content creators and wildlife photographers, like, they don't even necessarily need to have an academic background. They just start posting, and now they're just doing cool shit. They're like tour guides. They're, selling prints of their work or merch, shit like that. And it's just like, I guess my biggest struggle is like, forcing myself to continue with that path and just, either fail or actually like succeed, or do the safer option, which would probably be to, continue working my job and building up career capital, and, continue to work my way into embedded software engineering and whatever, because it's safe, stable, I can live a relatively comfortable life, but nowhere near the flexibility that I would want, like, at all. Like, I'm, the 2 or 3 weeks that you can get of vacation time, even if it's like unpaid, companies are like not really apt to, give you that, especially starting out in like a new job, which is also kind of frustrating for myself, because I have like no leverage anymore. So yeah, it's just, I'm actually okay with the 2 or 3 weeks a year of just like, disconnecting from work and doing cool shit. But it's not really like on my terms, and it's just kind of frustrating, like not having that freedom. And I would be okay with not having that freedom if it was on my terms, right? Like if I was working on my own thing, and that required me to dedicate like a year to the thing to actually like succeed in the business endeavor, but it's my thing and I'm getting wealthy off of it, like who cares, like I'm here for that. I could totally just put my head down and focus on the one thing, whatever, because like it's my thing. I'm like owning my own labor, I guess. But it's just so much more difficult for me to actually like lock in at work now, because like I don't really want to be there, and I'd rather be working on my own projects. But the only thing with my own projects is that they're not necessarily profitable yet. They're not profitable yet. I don't even know why I word it like that. They're just not. There's so many different ways to succeed on social media, but I just haven't really like struck gold yet, I feel like, because like with this channel, I'm gonna bet like if you're a subscriber, you're probably here from my layoff video, and that means you're probably like working in tech somehow, or even corporate in general, and like that's the kind of content that you're here for. But like that's not the kind of content that I want to make all the time. I'm not the best travel vlogger, but like that's, and I've talked about this several times, because it's just like it's constantly on my mind. Like I don't know, like, part of me is just like, oh fuck it, just keep going. But like if I do what you want, but like if I want to make this profitable, maybe I want to chase the algorithm. I don't know. But one thing I do know is I am going to keep posting on Instagram daily, I have so much content to post from my travels this year, so I can just kind of keep experimenting and see where I go. And I still haven't made a TikTok yet, but that's definitely also something I need to commit to soon. The only thing with TikTok is that you need to almost post more frequently than the other platforms. But I have enough content banked up where I can just like re-release my reels on there and just see how they do, see if they do any better or not, you know? So I guess we'll see how things go. But yeah, man. I know I've just kind of rambled about random shit for like 22 minutes, but I went into this video just wanting to talk about how like social media is tough. Like it's freaking tough, and that might not be like news to you if you're watching this, but like it's just tough. And like it takes so much time to, achieve success with it. And I found myself, I look at other people, what they've done, I'm like, oh, I can do that. But then I still have my own insecurities and doubt about it. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, what do I have to do to actually gain like the traction that I'm looking for? And, I have had, well, actually, no, I don't even want to say what I'm thinking right now, because if I say it, A, it might not happen. B, someone will steal the idea. C, saying what I'm thinking right now takes away the momentum of me eventually doing what I'm thinking. So anyway, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, guys, thanks for bearing with me and just listening to me rant. All of these like YouTubers especially are talking about like how like, oh, like, you can make so much money by starting a YouTube channel and blah 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 blah. And I mean, to be fair, I mean, they're not wrong, but I just been having a lot of doubt about it because like, I don't know. I feel like my reels have been restricted. Well, not restricted, but like the algorithm's only pushing them out to like my existing followers, and even then, they're getting like super low engagement, and I'm not sure why that is. And I've been trying to figure it out. I've been trying to post way more reels than usual, and I literally haven't gotten any followers from it. So it's interesting. The only thing I haven't tried is paying to market myself on there, but there are people that are capable of doing well with organic content, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do myself. So, but then again, all of those people are like, their content is better than mine. So like, I guess there's that. Just keep leveling up the skill until I get good enough to be recognized. But I mean, I feel like my work isn't horrible either. It's probably a solid like C plus, B minus. But let me know what you guys think. Honestly, it's kind of cool that I can just record myself talking to the camera, and somebody in another spot on the planet, not necessarily in the U.S. because there's other parts of the world. Although I'm sure most of my audience is U.S. based. But I can just kind of spew my thoughts, and then somebody on, let's say, the UK can just comment and be like, you know what, fuck you, dude, and then just like my video, or like actually just be supportive and just be like, oh no, I hear where you're coming from, whatever. Like, I don't really think that there's any value to be had here because I'm just rambling, and I'm fast approaching Crested Buttes. Well, no, I'm not fast approaching. I'm gonna be there in like 3 hours, so I'll probably try to record something else after this. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. I think I'm going to cap it here. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. If you're having any kind of like self-doubt in life, just keep going. That's kind of what I'm doing, right? Like, I don't know if I'm going to succeed in my desire to be able to quit my job and just be like a wildlife guy full time. I also don't know if I want to even be a wildlife guy full time, or, because I guess something I haven't touched upon yet that I want to touch upon, but I think I'm going to do it in another video, is me being torn between like, following my inner child and being like a wildlife guy, or because like, or doing something I know for a fact I can get like loaded off of, like fuck you money. Like, and I'm not even talking like a billionaire. I have no desire to be a billionaire or anything. I don't even think I like am capable. Well, I mean, no, I'm capable of doing something like that if I really want to put my head down and like become an extreme workaholic. But I think being a billion, that's just a side tangent. It's either follow my inner child or like leveling up in some other skill, like real estate or sales or marketing or whatever, or some mix of them all above that'll like pay me that like passive income, that like the 10K a month or whatever. But I don't know. All right, guys, I'm gonna make another video like right after this to kind of go to continue this thought, but like more coherently and targeted. So I will catch you in the next one.